Today, we're going to look at a stretch for the lower back. While it is relatively simple, there is a good amount of nuance to it. We've looked in the past at why typical back stretches are often useless or worse. Typically, people shove their lower ribs even further forward than usual and arch their back. Or they might go the opposite way and massively round their back. While these do in some sense stretch you, they stretch you by massively shortening you as well. These stretches also involve gestures that bear little relation to standing with good posture, or really anything we would actually want to do with our body in our day-to-day life, and therefore they do very little to help us practically improve our posture. For a better stretch of the lower back, here's the procedure. Though there are many variations on this is a good way to get started. While standing, grab onto the opposite sleeves of your shirt with your hands. Before you begin the stretch, you will want to make an adjustment of your pelvis. We want to lift the pelvis at the front, allowing the lower end of the sacrum to rotate forward and down. But we want the pelvis to move back in space. Having your arms forward will bring weight forward, so that should make it a little easier to get your pelvis back. Now the stretch is to turn your rib cage relative to your pelvis. You want to prevent your pelvis from moving as much as you can. When you turn to the right, you will need to pull the greater trochanter on the right side forward, and the same when you go left. The greater trochanter is essentially the outside of the upper leg, the femur. It will want to go back when you turn. Don't let it. If you're really having trouble, take your hand off of your shirt and pull forward on the pocket of your pants on the side you're turning towards. Check in a mirror or with video to make sure you're not just going back with your greater trochanter. There are two major goals beyond just keeping your greater trochanter pulled forward on the side you're turning towards. First, you want to keep your pelvis back. Your pelvis will likely want to go forward as you turn, so remind yourself of the directions to pull the front of your pelvis back and up. You want your pelvis to stay back relative to the front of your legs. If you're on the newer side of doing this kind of stuff, you probably won't succeed completely, but as long as you're getting your pelvis back more than you usually would, you're doing okay. Rotating your lower sacrum forward will provide an oppositional movement that will help you get the front of your pelvis back. The second thing to consider is that you don't want to let your lower ribs go forward or your upper torso to go back. Most people will want to let their lower ribs press forward in order to turn. Keep your lower ribs back and move your rib cage back faster than your arm on the side you're turning towards. Don't let your arm lead the movement and go way back. Your rib cage should lead the movement. Pull on your sleeves to keep your arms forward. Keep your upper sternum forward and up, and get your lower ribs back as best as you can. Again, newer people will struggle with this, but as long as you're doing better than your baseline, you'll be going in the right direction. You want to keep your rib cage high throughout this stretch, but be careful to lift your rib cage and not your shoulders instead. The more common way to do this type of stretch would not consider these three important considerations: the greater trochanter being pulled forward, the pelvis being kept back, and the lower ribs being kept back. Without these considerations, the stretch is, in my opinion, largely useless. You will be shortening significantly to get a little lengthening, but we want true lengthening throughout this stretch. Expect it to be a bit uncomfortable. Let it open the door to the possibility that you have muscles in your lower back, pelvis, and legs that you could be using differently. More typical stretches that are similar to this are often done on the floor. That is a mistake in my view. We want to learn how to get length into our musculature and fascia while active and upright. training to make these movements while lying down will not translate, and you will just go back to your old habits when you stand up. And obviously, the 3 considerations I've mentioned will not be fulfilled on the floor. The truth is, in your starting posture, there is almost certainly room to get your pelvis further back, to get your lower ribs further back, and to get your rib cage up. This stretch will essentially challenge some of your back muscles and fascia to stay extended even through this twisting movement, where you would have to extend more than usual to not end up bending and shortening. We also do turn our upper body in our life. We want to be able to do that without losing control of our pelvis and the rest of our body. That's another reason standing as part of the gesture is so impactful. You don't get to just relax on the floor and stretch. You have to stretch while actively maintaining your equilibrium, which is why it will translate much better into your actual life. If you have any questions, leave them down below.